You know, in just a few seconds from now, it'll be about 10 minutes till the ball drop, and you can feel it in the air. There's a buzz. You hear that sound? They know it's going to happen. And they'll all be looking at the big ball up there on top of #1 Times Square. It's a 77-foot flagpole. Let me show you how they put this ball together and give you a couple of the statistics. It's a 6-foot ball in diameter, and they've mounted on 1,070 pounds of aluminum there. It's just covered with these crystals. There are 504 of them. They range in size from 4 3/4 inches to 5 3/4 inches long. And then again, they're lighted with 168 halogen bulbs at 60 watts, by the way. And as I mentioned, the flagpole is 77 feet tall. It's 390 feet up in the air over Times Square. And that's what these people down in that little square are looking at. This is all of the design of this intricate ball, and it's brand new this year, brand new for the millennium. And of course, there are other symbols around the world. They drop an orange in one place, they light up a fountain somewhere else. But I must tell you, of all the symbols in the world that denote New Year's Eve, it's Times Square and the ball, and that's what they want to see. At the crossroads of the world, it is the place to be. And this is our 28th consecutive year in Times Square. Now, I don't think this crowd is really aware of all the preparation that went into this giant party. Awful lot of people, thousands of volunteers put in a lot of time. The professional crews, they've all got their eye on that flagpole. And when it hits the 2,000, you will hear in 9 minutes and 30 seconds a thing like you've never heard before. The helicopters are overhead. The volunteers have done their work. The professional crews have done it. The musicians, the dancers, the police, as I mentioned earlier, they have consumed 7,000 gallons of coffee. This is something to see. Times Square is a year-round attraction. There's no doubt about it. It is one of the places to see. The first movie theater that presented a talkie was here in 1927. And now, of course, you got dozens and dozens of movie houses everywhere, 40 legitimate theaters in the area, 250 restaurants, if you can believe that. And there are 12,500 hotel rooms in the area. We've got 9 minutes to go until the ball drops. Speaking of hotel rooms, 90,000 citywide, so New York City can throw a party. You know, the nice thing about this is these people have not been allowed to bring in alcohol. They're having a great time on their own. They're conversing, having intimate conversations, but they're screaming and yelling. They got the crazy wigs on and their glasses. They're just happy to be here. And as 1999 passes into 2000, we remember certainly the Latin music take over, the female singers take over, the boy band take over, and things like the Blair Witch Project. I wonder what they would have said if they'd seen the ball. Bruce Springsteen's $53 million tour. It's been a big year in entertainment. It's a big night here in Times Square. This is the year of the Internet Impact, $1 million game shows, Santana's return, wrestling's return. By the way, as we watch the ball up there, do you have any idea? Yeah, it's 7 minutes to go, and got just a second here. The BMI people, the folks who publish or keep track of a lot of the music, christened the top song of the century is "You've Lost That Love and Feeling." The Righteous Brothers, and ASCOP's top song of the century was "Happy Birthday to You," if you can believe it or not. Once again, let us thank a wonderful ABC crew for putting all of this extraordinary coverage of the millennium around the world, and especially here in Times Square together. Larry Klein's been our producer for goodness knows how many years. Bob McKinnon is our director. Bill Clark is the executive senior producer of the ABC television crew, and they've done a phenomenal job. That stage there in the middle has been the site of a lot of entertainment today. And as you see these giant billboards, they're all over the place. Back in the 1930s, Benny Goodman was the guy here. Just yesterday, as of 1942, Frank Sinatra appeared at the Paramount Theater for a 4-week engagement, and they extended it for 4 more weeks. Right here in the center of Times Square. In the 1950s, we had the first rock and roll shows. Alan Freed was here. And in 1983, you talk about big crowds. Big, big crowds. Central Park was inundated with people. That's when Diana Ross was there. And in 1997, Garth Brooks was there. Every eye is on the ball at 6 minutes and 40 seconds to ball drop and counting down. The weather tonight is perfect. I mean, look at them. They're not all bundled up. You can't even hardly see the breath in the air. I mean, usually they're rubbing themselves, hugging themselves, trying to stay warm. This is a walk in the park this year. Temperatures are in the mid-30s. A little earlier we said 37. It's probably down around 35 or 36 now. But they are not paying any attention at all to the weather. They're in a party mood. Now, all of these balloons and the funny-looking mylar wigs and all were handed out by the Business Improvement District here, and they have done an extraordinary job of really putting things together here. It's a wonderful, wonderful party, and certainly one that will be long remembered for many, many years to come. I've just heard from the control room that it is still 37 degrees. And as I say, you would think it was in the mid-50s. Look, they don't even have their hats on tonight. I'm still looking for that guy who's out there without his shirt on. There is always one guy, no matter what the weather is, who's out there hanging around. What are they shouting about? Let me check this out. There's a huge cry. I guess they saw the ball wiggle or something. I tell you, they can't wait. It's only 5 minutes away. I don't know if you can hear the helicopters hanging overhead, but they're up there. You know, each night, 6 million volts of electricity are shot through these extraordinary signs here. There are 300 miles of neon there. Billions and billions of visitors have come to this area since 1904. You can hear the music building in the background. They have this surround sound this year. All sorts of sound and confetti and other doodads will happen as we go along. 500 dancers, actors, musicians, and puppeteers, 7 giant screen TVs, 160 puppets, 57 banners, 500 3-foot balloons have been distributed, and 100,000 handouts, which include pom-poms and leis and wigs and flags. They've all gotten their little party souvenirs, and they're having a great old time. There's the ball. It hasn't moved yet. It won't move for another 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Piccadilly Circus is big. Ginza in Tokyo is big. But ain't nothing like the ball in Times Square. Crossroads of the world in New York City. This is the place to be. Believe you me. Wish I had the balloon concession, but those were all given away free tonight, isn't it? Happy-looking group of people. Notice the ages, though. Didn't I say? It is a young person's game. In order to stand out here for 10 or 12 hours, you got to have a lot of stamina. And the police have arranged the porta potties on the side streets and all. They've accommodated the people who couldn't get into the square. They've worked it out so people can move around with ease. And we're just less than 3 minutes away.
And join in this opening ceremony. The Queen already has been doing a number of things before she got to the Dome on her private barge. Just before that, she lit the London Beacon, which is part of the whole Millennium Beacon, where flames and torches all over the length and breadth of the British Isles have been lit to commemorate the millennium. And before that, she was at prayer at Southwark Cathedral on the river, and she also visited a homeless shelter, part of her observations of this millennium.
It is along the Thames River in Greenwich. It is the size of 2 Georgia domes, to give you some sense of what it is equal to in this country or in the United States. My favorite stat fact of the entire millennium, actually, is that somebody said if you turned this over and put it right under Niagara Falls, it would take 12 minutes to fill up. It is a giant theater there in the center. The people are cheering. There are about 12,000 invited guests there tonight, and then it is a theme park all around with 14 different centers that reflect science and parts of British life and faith and medicine and a number of things. It is a participatory place where people can come and tour these various centers as well as see theatrical acts in the middle. We are told that the Queen is going to have a few remarks at this Millennium Dome. She has not said anything today, and this will be her opportunity to give a New Year's message to the United Kingdom. You know, with all due respect to Paris, and it was a fantastic show there, The British say they're going to have a bigger show come midnight than any place else in the world. We'll see if they make good on it. But the Queen will spend midnight at the Millennium Dome with these 12,000 invited guests. And the major fireworks show is going to go on along the Thames in London. They're going to set off 45 major fireworks every second. So we have 1 minute to go. This is going to be quite a show. Now, Big Ben has a little bit of preliminary music that comes just before the bells start to bong. That is going to start shortly, and then the British say will come to silence, which is about 1 or 2 seconds before you hear the 12 bongs of midnight. And as that begins, the river of fire will extend right up the Thames River. As we say, the crowds are very thick. The mood is very anticipatory. This should be quite something to see.
When we get to 10, are you ready? In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 2000!
And here it goes.
Visionary, and he will be sorely missed. Mr. Goldenson, thank you, sir. Well, they're in a party mood. Can you imagine how long this thing is going to last? Can you imagine how much work it's going to take to clean this mess up? Whee! They're partying in the ABC room, but you got a whole night ahead of you. This is magnificent coverage going on here for the ABC 2000 event. The people here in Times Square will continue to party on into the wee hours. You can count it. They're taking pictures of each other, celebrating. They're in a festive mood if ever there was one. I'm going to preserve that on his home video there. You won't find a happier group of people anywhere in the world. And And it'll be very interesting tomorrow to see if the official estimate is 2 million. I can usually tell. Years and years ago, I could sort of judge it by looking up and down the street. You can't take an individual head count, but I said, well, 500,000 people are here, and sure enough, it would appear in the paper the next day to confirm it. I have no more idea in a billy goat how many people are here tonight, but it's a lot. This is the biggest New Year's Eve crowd I've ever seen in the almost 30 years I've been hanging around here. Once again, congratulations to the NYPD. They do an extraordinary job. The city of New York throws the biggest party in the world. It's orderly, it's happy, it's well controlled. Beautiful job. And once again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your New Year's Eve. Peter Jennings, Happy New Year early. I'll see you soon, sir.
Thank you, Dick, very much. Thank you, Dick Clark, very much for a wonderful evening and a wonderful celebration to all of us, not only in New York, but across the country. Dick Clark, without whom we would not want to have a New Year's celebration in Times Square. And sure, those of us who are here are just a little biased as to whether it was the biggest or the best celebration. Wherever you were, we hope it was the biggest and best celebration. People here waited for 19 hours. And hey, listen, this was the way the vote went. Happy New Year to you all across the country and across any other country that happens to be watching us. We had a great time. As I said, they waited 19 hours here in Times Square to share a moment like this, and they waited in every other city in the world to have a happy millennium moment as well. And now we're going to take a break and then work our way all the way across America. Thanks for being with us.